It's time to get your ass out of bed. It's time to not hit the snooze button. Get up. There we go. It's the morning show. Mornings in the lab with me. I'm Keith Bilous. The guy over there, that's C. Marty Fit. And the guy just over there, he's all jacked. That's Jon Andersen. We got producer Flynn on the other side of the green room. And we got our guest today, Soyoung Park. We're talking about... Oh, wrong notes are up. We're talking about branding for profit, how to leverage your personal brand in business. We got a bunch of other great conversations coming up today, boys. If we have time to get into it, Arnold Schwarzenegger dropped some stuff yesterday about the 3-day intermittent fast. I might lean into that a little bit today. And hey, listen, guys, if you got your finger up your nose right now, get it out. Stop picking your nose. It might be causing you Alzheimer's disease. True story. Yeah, a little scientific study was released talking just about that. So that might just come up on the radar today. But you know what? It's Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday. It's just another day in the loop. My rest and recovery day. Did some yoga this morning. But before we go any further, let's bring in our friends. Johnny, Marty, producer Flynn. Let's do all of them all at once this morning. Let's bring them all up there, Jimmy. I'm pressing the button. Sorry, pal. What's going on, nation? What's going on, team? What's going on, Tina, Marty, John? How are you guys today? The loop is back at it.
Brother, as soon as you said don't pick your nose, I felt so compelled to put my finger in my nose. It was unbelievable. I actually used my tissue to make sure it wasn't straight. I want to make sure I was following orders here, but I don't know what it is. When you say not to do something, it just makes you want to do it.
What? I don't know what to say to that.
I'm just being honest, man. You know, what? I don't know if the guys that agree, they could see me. Did you see me go for my tissue and clean it out? Oh yeah,
we saw you. And then I saw Marty's face at the same time, and I'm like, okay, though Marty's there quite interested in that whole.
What are we doing, man? Show didn't even start yet.
Producer Flynn, was this on the agenda this morning about picking noses this morning?
Yes, the direct correlation between nose picking and Alzheimer's was definitely on the agenda.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I gotta know if we're talking about this. The question is this: we all have the same looking finger. How many knuckles deep do you have to go to start creating Alzheimer's? That's what I want.
How about when you pull up to a stoplight, Johnny, and you see just some dude just digging, just digging right up there.
No. And the worst one is when he thinks nobody's looking, and then he pulls it out and then gets a taste. I just about makes you want to. Yeah, look at Marty. Yeah. I can remember so clearly one time. It was an old lady, and it was nighttime, and I could barely see. And she literally gets rooting on her nose, pulls it out, looks at it, right? And then just like a rat.
God. Come on.
I mean, just literally, you could see her lips going. It was just like. That was my sound effect. That's what it sounded to me. That's what it looked like it was going to sound like in her car.
We got to record that. Gentlemen, get up because that's your snooze button this morning. Hey, Keith and John are laughing. Christina and Marty are like, what the hell's going on here? Hey, Mornings in Live. It's 5 minutes after the hour here. Listen, this is an explicit fucking show. Sorry, Christina. I just had to drop that up there. So if you have children in the room, if you have children in the area, put the headphones on. Tell them that the F word is worth $5. Maybe it's worth $10. I don't know. But it's an explicit show. And I also want to tell you guys, today, I dusted out the old black hat. Nice black hat on. I got a nice black shirt on. I got some green shorts underneath. So I'm in the old television garb today, Johnny. I look great up top, but I look really horrible below. Johnny Andersen's got.
You're trying to get that whole. You're trying to get the bougie comment from Marty, aren't you?
That's it. We got Johnny Andersen with
Keith,
the nice.
You're not bougie, man. Keith, you're not bougie.
I know I'm not bougie. No, I know. Believe me, I'm far from bougie, Marty. Yeah,
Johnny's the only bougie guy in here.
Johnny's got the nice red hat on, the black Versace glasses, nice black Jon Andersen branded shirt. John, we're gonna have to talk about some of the merch that you and Marty got on the store here over our time on the show here. Yeah, Marty's got the less brunches, more crunches sunglasses on.
Come on, man.
Nation, if you guys want to get some
Come on, Jon Andersen.
You guys want to get some great gear.
I take it a step further. You say no, less. What is it? More crunches, less brunches. I just say fuck excuses. So I cut it at the knees before I even get a chance to get to it. No, nobody's even got a chance to get your phrase because they got hit with mine too soon.
Oh, Marty's got the nice Saskatchewan Rough Rider green shirt on. So all my friends here in Canada, in Manitoba. I'm sorry. I haven't had the conversation with Johnny yet about that green. We don't allow green here with that, but that's okay.
But I got to say, I was actually digging that green, bro.
Yeah.
I was digging that green. So
thank you, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
We'll have a conversation about the green one day, Marty. He'll learn all about that. And then, of course, we have producer Flynn joining us here the day after the first day of school. And there's a lot of parents tuning in right now that are experiencing what producer Flynn went through yesterday. And I think I heard a little rumbling that one kid went to school and then one kid's like, "No, Mom, I'm sick."
On the first day?
Yeah. She was legit sick.
Wow.
She was like, "No, you can't get excited yet. I'm not done with you."
Oh, there we go. Hey, we got the accountability check-in coming up the 50-minute mark. We got Marty's fitness tip at the 30-minute mark, of course, and the John's lifestyle tip, the unpredictable John's lifestyle tip at the 45-minute mark. Creator Spotlight coming in at the 55-minute mark. And, of course, Soyoung Park is joining us today, a longtime Mornings in the Lab fan. She did not sleep last night. We saw her camped out outside the studio door, just waiting to get in the lab this morning. Just eagerly could not get in here quick enough. Financial business systems analyst, expertise in Oracle, PeoPleSoft, Power BI, SQL. She's kind of funny. She's a little bit funny. She gets in front of the camera and she just talks and make you laugh. So we're gonna enjoy some humor from Soyoung. Johnny, she's got a bulldog. The Bulldog account on Instagram has over 60,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that conversation with Soyoung today. And listen, guys, what we do here in the lab is we build business athletes. So if you're an athlete waking up with us this morning, you're thinking, hey, I want to get into business. I'm stuck. I'm transitioning. I'm trying to get into the next stage of my life. You come hang out with us. We'll get you there. We'll help you learn about business. And if you're a business guy who's struggling to kind of get your shit together and you want to lean into some athletics and habit stacking and, lean into some great fitness stuff, you're on the right show. You got Marty here. You got John here, producer Flynn with your personal brand. This is the show if you're a business builder, Mornings in the Lab. So Flinner, tell us about yesterday. It was that first day of school and it all went well until one kid was like, no, I'm not going.
I mean, I think you're giving her too much credit. She's 5 years old and she didn't just say, nah, I'm not going. She was hacking up a log and we make that call, not her. Yeah.
Yes.
We don't need to be, for the sake of all parents, we don't need to be bringing her germs into everyone else's world. So we can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, you know what I did with my kids when they got a little older, because at 5, you're totally correct. They don't even really understand the game of trying to get out of school yet. But when they do, I say, okay, here's your choice. You can get up and you go to school, or you could stay in bed all day and continue to do schoolwork, even though you're not at school. You make the choice. I'm good with either one. And all of a sudden they would just thinking about, boy, I got to stay in bed. I'm not watching TV. I'm not getting up. I might as well go to schoolwork at school and see my friends. Wow, that sounds like a good idea.
Ooh, I love Jon Andersen.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Good morning, good time. Thanks for joining us this morning. I love your appreciation for the show. You hear every single day. Good Time's giving you the hello okay as well. And Good Time was busy. Good Time had their finger up the nose when we were talking about the nose conversation. And of course, Alex was shaking. Alex from London. Christina, we got to get Alex on the show. Alex is a friend on LinkedIn, but the problem is Alex's internet's on. All my friends in the UK, their internet's just messed up. I don't know what the hell the internet in the UK is, but Alex, we want to get you on the show. This is great. And then Will Ray. Boys, Will's joining us next week in the lab. September 10th, I think it is, or the 11th. But next week is joining us. John created remote work. Yes, John's teaching children before they go to school that if you don't want to go to school, you can do remote work at home. So John's the godfather of remote work, courtesy of Jon Andersen. That's pretty good, Will. Thanks for joining us here this morning in the lab. Hey, so I opened the show with some interesting stuff that I read this morning, because we know that I like to bring interesting stuff to the table.
Oh, Lord.
And there's
Marty, the glass is half full, brother. Come on, let's get rid of this half. As every time he says that, you have a negative response. You're like manifesting the fact that you're not going to like what he has to say. You got to say, come on, baby, what do you got for me today,
Hey, John, hold up. Keith, sorry. John, I've been doing this since before you and Christina were here. So that's part of the show.
He knows.
It's good cop, bad cop, huh? It's good cop, bad cop.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. And I heard the pop of the liquid death can too, didn't I?
Pellegrino today.
Oh,
Pellegrino
I
today.
thought I was creating a sponsor
Who's
bit.
bougie now?
Yeah, I thought.
I got you today, baby. Come
You
on.
got me today, man.
I got you today.
I thought we were creating a sponsor bit for Liquid Death, but sorry, Liquid Death. We got some Pellegrino on the show this morning. But hey, team, Tina, looking at you because you're not the male on the show here. So, and I'm just thinking of males digging up their nose. But a recent study has revealed a tenuous but plausible link between picking your nose, like just digging in there, and increasing the likelihood and risk of developing dementia.
Man, you got to be a couple knuckles deep in there to be causing that. We're not talking about just pulling something out off the rim. You know what I mean?
Off the rim.
That's it. So you got a rim, it's a circle. It's like you pulling something off the out, just giving a little one of these. That's not Alzheimer's. You got to be doing like this. You got to be you got to send a couple of knuckles up there to do that kind of damage.
Give us more, Keith. What the hell are they saying?
This is the only morning show that teaches you how to properly pick your nose. So if you're getting up and starting your day today, you guys, we got Mike McQuillan joining us here. My wife is an ENT. I have to consult with her on this one. Mike, but if you're going to consult with her, don't have the finger in the nose when you ask the question. You got to leave the finger out. But listen, in cases where picking at your nose damages internal tissues, critical species of bacteria have a clear path to the brain, Jon Andersen.
No shit.
Which responds to their presence in ways that resemble signs of Alzheimer's disease. Now, granted, there are plenty of caveats here, not least that so far, the supporting research, and guys, you can take a deep breath with what I'm going to say next. The supporting research is based on mice rather than humans. So there are some suggestions that,
hold on, a mouse has got a sharp freaking finger, man. He's damaging tissue when he puts that thing in his nose. So this is not their nose. That's my point. I mean, if they're picking their nose, they've got a sharp claw they're sticking up in there. So I want to know how the mouse's nose got picked.
I want to know how they did the science test of having, hey, mouse A, stick your claw up your nose. So listen, a team of research, and I told you guys a few days ago that there's fake science and real science. I did a little further research in this study before I wanted to reveal it on the air here because we are talking about trust. But a team of researchers led by scientists from Griffith University in Australia ran tests with a bacteria called chlamydia. Not chlamydia, gentlemen, chlamydia pneumoniae, which can infect humans and cause pneumonia. The bacteria has also been discovered in the majority of human brains affected by late onset dementia. So essentially what they're saying is this, you guys. It was demonstrated that in mice, the bacteria could damage up the nerves inside your nose if they were scratching and digging too much into the cartilage. So if you're picking your nose, gentlemen, this morning, and you're sitting at the stoplight on your way to work right now, and you got your fingers just digging up there, as Johnny said, go back to the rim. Just stay on the rim. Let the cartilage breathe and then blow it out with your Kleenex. But if you're going to dig, and you might need a shovel, you're probably digging to Alzheimer's or dementia. So you might want to reconsider that.
So we're talking about the septum because that's the chunk of cartilage in there, correct?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to be nutty as a fruitcake because I've had my septum moved a couple of times when I was.
Oh, I'm sure you have actually. Yeah. Yes.
Like I can really only, if I want to pick, I really only have the right open nostril. The left one, that septum is way over there.
Good time comes back. I think there's a link to pulling nose hairs. Yeah. I pull my nose hairs every now and then. They're just driving me nuts. You just got to yank them out of the old nose. It's just sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Maybe it's an age thing. Johnny, you got that issue too sometimes, pal?
I can't say that. I mean, I definitely get rid of them. I clip them. I have a nose hair trimmer, but I can't say that picking my nose hairs is on the top of my list of things that I want to do. That stuff is uncomfortable, man.
Hey, awesome conversation. First thing in the lab here this morning, talking about picking your nose and getting dementia. Yeah, I just said that. Good morning, Alex. You coming back here? You can start a course. Which finger? Yes, Christina, we can start a course. We could start a course and sell it on LinkedIn, all these platforms. The new digital course coming from the lab, how to pick your nose and not get dementia, with some laughter from Good Time. And then, of course, Alex is coming back with how in the name of you pick a mouse's nose. But hey, team, I got to pause the show right now big acknowledgement. We have somebody in the comments right now that I woke up to this morning who made me feel exceptionally awesome. And Mike Sullivan, you made Christopher Martin, see Marty Fit, feel exceptionally awesome. You made Jon Andersen feel exceptionally awesome. You made Christina Flynn feel exceptionally awesome. So on behalf of me and the crew, we want to thank you for taking part of your day and waking up with us, Mike, because you put this up on screen. Hey, Mike. Hello, all. I don't know if it could be true. I do know that wrapping food in aluminum foil can contribute to dementia. That's awesome, Mike. I just want to say thank you for showing up every single day with us on this show. Thank you for discovering us. My appreciation goes to you and you contributing to the show. I shared your comment this morning with Marty and Johnny and Christina, and we all felt that gratitude. So thanks, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you joining the show with us on every single day. Speaking of, if you want to get into the Mike Sullivan Congratulatory Hall of Fame, I invite you to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the channel, share with your friends. We're just tickling a couple hundred subscribers, so I invite you guys to like it and be part of the show. And I got Erwin Curtis. That's Erwin. That comment's not the best, man. Hey, listen, we got guardrails in the show. Leave us comments, engage in the show, leave us great stuff. If it's a good comment, we'll put it on the air here. But hey, it's 18 minutes after. I'm a few minutes behind on the accountability check-in. John's got to go for a restroom break. Marty's got to go for a stretch. Tina's going to go do what she's got to do to keep the show moving along. And I am going to do this part of the show, which is this. All right. Woo, the show is moving today. The loop continues every single hour and minute. The loop just goes and goes and goes. And you know what? You're living the loop. While you are living the loop of life, you can make excuses or you can make progress. But I'm going to tell you something, nation. You can't do both. Nope. We all want more for ourselves. But most of us are afraid to go for it. We say, I'll start tomorrow. The common one is, I'm going to get started on Monday. Yeah, I'll go do it on Monday. I'll start my diet on Monday. I'll start my lift on Monday. Or I just don't have time right now. Well, here's the thing for me. Clear my throat. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. The excuses that you're making for yourself right now, you're tuning in right now, the excuses that you're making, they're just safe, but they're a trap. They are a trap. They're a trap to keep you where you are in every single day in and day out. And as you know, we've wiped the word day out of the library here in the lab. We've wiped the word time. We've wiped hours and minutes. We subscribe to this idea of a loop. You stack habits, you move forward, you tackle them day in and day out. And before you know it, another 10 years will be gone, but you'll be stuck, still wondering if there's more to life. And I'm going to tell you something right now, nation, there is. But it takes guts, as Mike Sullivan knows. It takes guts to find it. Betting on yourself, hey, good time? Betting on yourself isn't about being fearless. You know what I'm talking about, William Ray? You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about being fed up with standing still, sitting on your ass, and accepting mediocrity. You're either moving forward or you're sitting down. The choice? I'll tell you something. The choice isn't easy, but it's simple. The choice is yours. So as you start your day on this Wednesday of the loop, stay safe, stay stuck, take a chance on yourself, or you're going to get up and get moving. What's it going to be? You decide. That's your accountability check-in for the Wednesday version of the loop. Here in the lab. Mornings in the lab with Keith, Jon Andersen, C. Marty Fit. Producer Flynn. I can see Soyoung stressing out there in the green room about her internet. She's like, oh my God, my internet's not working. Johnny is just so young, just panicking. She didn't sleep last night. She's like, oh my God, I want to get on the show, but the internet's not working for her. So, but we're gonna get Soyoung on the show here in a second, and I can see the big smile coming up over there. Soyoung, you put your thumbs up when you're ready to bring you in there. Shall we try you out, Soyoung? Nope, no Soyoung there. All right, so we're gonna get Soyoung working on her internet issues there. We'll bring her in a few moments. Guys, I got to tell you, we hit a nerve the last couple of days, John, Marty, Christina, around food and the conversations and people leaning into, asking about what they should eat, what they shouldn't be eating. And one thing that I know, John, Marty, is that there's so many different ways to skin a cat, especially especially in the world of fitness, right? And our friend, John, your friend more than my friend or Marty's friend. I think you've met him a few times in your journey in life. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the God. He talked yesterday about a study that was published. I'm trying to find it here. A study that was recently published by scientists that found that intermittent fasting for just 3 days each week had significant benefits. Now, listen, I know that we are all about living a healthy, prosperous life. Schwarzenegger examined how the diet could lead to impressive results. Now, hey, one thing we don't like the word diet. We'll talk about eating habits, eating patterns. But scientists found that intermittent fasting for just 3 days each week had significant benefits. So now I'm not going to lean too much into the whole concept of intermittent fasting for this part of the show, this topic. What I really want to get into is something that stood out for me in his quotes in this article, Marty. And he says, this is what I love the most. He's like, the 3-day diet. Most diets provide a laundry list of rules you're told you must follow to see results. But decades of research show that one rule matters more than all other rules. And this is the greatest technique, tip or strategy that Schwarzenegger's ever dropped, I think. And Johnny, you're going to love this one. If you want great results, focus on consistent behaviors, good habits, rather than obsessing about specific foods, specific techniques, specific workouts in the gym. Oh, I got to get my tricep press better. Really? You
don't get lost in the details, baby.
You crush the Reese's peanut butter cup, you crush the Five Guys burgers, you crush the fucking Popeyes, and then you're bitching to Anderson or Marty about your tricep press and you can't lose any weight? Really?
The plan that works the best is the plan that someone follows.
Yes. So I love this because Marty, he talks about studies have compared dramatically different diets, similar diets with slight twists, and even low carb versus low fat. And the results are always the same. This is just the best. The plan you can adhere to the best and the longest is the one that's best for you, Christopher Martin.
That's it. That's it.
I love it. People try to do stuff that's not sustainable, man.
It's so simple. I know we're dumbing it down by making it so simple, but the godfather of why we exist, right? Like, let's face it, Johnny. Without Schwarzenegger, you may not have the career and some of the things that you're doing. Without
Guaranteed.
Without Schwarzenegger, Joe Weider doesn't create the big empire he creates. Hey, Mike Sullivan, I know you're listening, Sullivan. So the fact that Schwartzy's talking about, I can give you a Bible of every workout, every food to eat, everything to do, fuck it. If you can't be consistent with one thing, you're not going to succeed. No rocket science there. And I love that message because it comes from the godfather of fitness, frankly.
Simple. It's simple. It's not that hard, but it's not hard to the formula isn't simple, but it's hard to execute.
Well, so you're right, Marty. But I think when I call it simple, is it's simple because what our vision is with this show. We know, all of us sitting behind the cameras right now, the biggest challenge for most humans is accountability. The biggest challenge is getting started. The biggest challenge is to continue it day after day after day after day. So if we adopt the loop mindset, like Anderson's preaching, and we just know we're going to be here in 24 hours from now in the loop, and then 48 hours from the loop, we know our audience knows that we're going to be here in 24 hours. So Sullivan's like, hey, I know if I take care of myself today, and I join John, Marty, and Christina and Keith at 8 a.m. Eastern time the next day, when the loop continues, Mike's feeling good about himself. Mike's got that accountability partner. Mike's like, okay, good times. Like, okay, well, those guys are doing it. It's going to give me that energy to keep going. Right. And William's like, okay, well, if those guys are there in 24 hours from now, it's going to give me that energy and that bump to keep going. Accountability is the toughest thing. John, Marty can give you guys any program you want, but if you can't articulate it day after day after day after day, not going to succeed. So simple as that.
100%, brother. And that's literally why the foundation of what I do with people is creating the structure and the habits, which become subconscious behavior patterns, which carries out whatever the tasks are.
Yes.
And that's it. Without that, you're going to spin your wheels for the rest of your life because if you don't show up and you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's not going to, doesn't make a difference how great it is. If you don't do it, it's not going to work.
So if you're listening right now, I'm sorry. Well, that's Christina. If you're listening right now and you need some help, you want some help to get started, I invite you to contact us. Reach out to myself, Tina, Marty, John. We will help you. We will help you achieve your biggest, most audacious goals. And it'll start every single 24-hour cycle of the loop at 8 o'clock Eastern time here. And we got the Tech Dad jumping in with a simple program for complicated people. It's true. Pick a habit and stick to it. And then once you win that one habit, find the second one. And then once you win the second one, find the third one. As Marty said, don't try to do 10 habits at once because you're not going to succeed at any of them. Marty.
Yeah. And then what was I about to say? I forgot.
Sorry,
but, it's okay.
I got you, baby, because all you got to do is you got to remove one bad one. You remove one bad one, that's going to make a major step forward. Then you add in a good one. That's just those one remove, one add is a massive step in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say those habits that you get from the gym, like we always say, start in the gym, those translate to other areas, right?
Yes.
You discipline in the gym first. Now you're disciplined at work, disciplined with the family. So those habits carry on to other areas in your life.
Tina.
And I think John kind of said it the best. Sometimes I know I look at these things as daunting. It's like, I don't want to do the same thing every day. I don't want to, it's boring, especially people like me with ADHD. What I learned is that John's really talking about, it's a rewiring that's going on in your brain. And instead of being boring, once you get past that moment where it's really hard, it becomes really easy because it frees up your life for other things. You don't have to be doing those things with consciousness towards those activities. You have a whole lot more space to do a whole lot of other things.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I know that we got some comments coming from fit presenter Mike's like, if you're in the mood for a good rant someday, I'll tell you my story about the paleo challenge that they ran at a gym. Yes, Mike, we got to get you on for that one. Paleo challenge. Yes, 100%. And then Alex is coming in with John. I think you may know Alex's half brother, Lawrence Shalahay, formerly Britain's strongest man. We're gonna get.
I actually helped him. He when he retired, he was close to 400 pounds. He's close to 300 pounds now. I was one of the first nutrition coaches he had to get him started in the right direction. He looks awesome now. That's exceptional. Thanks, Alex, for joining in with that. I'll tell you guys. So I know that Marty, as you've gotten to know me, I've really kind of. So I enjoy my time in the gym lifting weights because, as we know, I'm an accomplished bodybuilder like Jon Andersen over there. So, but one of the things that I've also really enjoyed. Get him, Marty. Get him. One of the things I've also really enjoyed has been endurance athletics. And I started with climbing some mountains and getting on the bike. And why I've really enjoyed it, John and Marty, is that it's taught me the endurance of business. Right. When I got to get onto a bike for a 2.5 hour ride or going on a trek up a mountain for 4, 5, 6, or 7 days, that's like business, right? It's grinding it out. It's just showing up every single day and putting the reps in, Johnny, every single day, because at that point, it's in your head. There's nothing physical about it, right? It's all in your head. And that's what business is largely is. It's in your head. So if you can get through the mental toughness, you're going to more than likely succeed on the other side of things as well. 100%. And the thing about going back to what Marty said, it's the habits that you create in one part of your life. And the gym is a great place to create habits because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, whether you like it or not. You take shortcuts in the gym, you're taking shortcuts elsewhere. And when it comes down to it, the modern day 1%er, so to speak, he is basically crushing all areas of his life. He has an amazing relationship with his wife and his kids. He has a thriving business or many of them. He's not fat. He's not tired. He's healthy because we now know that to really be success is not just dollars in a bank. We got plenty of people that are miserable that are wealthy, that are rich, but they're not wealthy. Wealth is crushing all areas of your life. John, I can relate to that. We should lean into that show one day, Christina, about what is really wealth. Because I have been that human when you're like, hey, I got a bunch of money. And you look in the mirror and I'm lost. I'm messed up in my head. I'm going through this. I'm spending a bunch of money on a shrink because I need to get what's sorted out of my head, right? So you're absolutely correct, Johnny. It's not, society tends to give us the measurement of what's in the bank account.
But I look at you, Anderson, with your lovely family and your daughters, and I'm thinking that guy's richer than most because he's happy. I look at the happiness in your family, et cetera, right? So, but listen, we got some folks in the horizontal stream. Adam, thanks for tuning in, pal. We got Adam here, as you can get that. Yeah, so Adam and Jack Duggan, thanks for jumping in, guys. And hey, listen, if you're on the horizontal stream, I invite you guys to join the vertical one as well. Subscribe to the show, Mornings in the Lab, over on YouTube. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. All of that helps us continue to build the biggest morning show to help you guys get going. We're up on Twitch, we're up on X, YouTube, linked all over the planet. But hey, it's the bottom of the hour. I'm going to stick to our time breaks right now, and we're gonna have Marty walk us into the
time it is, man. You know what time it is.
I know it's time for the Marty Fit Tip, and I see we have.
There we go. The shades are on. The gloves are off, baby. Let's go.
That's it. The team's keeping the coach accountable this morning, so I'm going to get off the stage. We're going to get everybody off stage. Marty's going to get on there, and then hopefully we can bring Soyoung up here. Soyoung, I see on the horizontal stream. I see on the vertical as well. So we're going to come back with Soyoung and test her internet and rock and roll. But Marty, my friend, it's over to you, brother.
Let's do it. Let's get it. All right. So we got the fitness tip for today. There's a lot of misunderstandings in fitness that hold people back. All right. So we're going to explore 5 common fitness myths that people or that guys believe about working out. Number 1, more reps build more muscle. Studies show that lifting heavier weights with fewer reps is way more effective for muscle growth than doing high reps versus lighter weights. So a lot of people think, you got to come to the gym and put in, 100 reps, lightweight. That's just not true, right? You're going to get a bigger bang for your buck if you go in there, lift heavy, make the muscle work, engage the muscle, struggle a little bit, and do a progressive overload, all right? Number 2, cardio is the best way to lose fat. Absolutely not true. While cardio burns calories, it's not the most efficient for fat loss, all right? You have to build strength. That's going to increase your resting metabolic rate. What's that? When I leave the gym, I'm still burning calories. When you stop doing the cardio, your caloric burn stops. So you're better off focusing on building muscle and sprinkling the cardio in. I didn't say don't do cardio, but still do the cardio. Your focus and foundation should be strength training, all right? Sweating more means a better workout. Absolutely not true. I've had so many clients that think that, because they didn't sweat a lot, they didn't have a good workout, right? All sweat is your body cooling down. That's it. Your body heat is heating up. Sweat is just cooling down. That's it. It doesn't indicate how many calories you've burned. All right. Effective workouts can happen if you're not drenched in sweat. It's okay. All right. Especially if the gym has air conditioning and it's a cool environment, you're probably not going to sweat that much. Number 4, you need supplements. You don't need supplements. Get your macronutrients from food. If you want to add supplements to, supplement your protein intake or help you get to your protein goal, that's fine. I know Jon Andersen doesn't agree with me, but that's fine if you want to do that. But you're better off getting it from whole food. And then number 5, rest days are unnecessary. You got to rest. Your body recovers. Your muscle builds when you sleep, right? So if you're not sleeping, your muscle's not going to build and your fat isn't going to burn. It's a lot of BS out there. Stay informed so you can train more effectively, avoid injuries, and make real progress toward your fitness goals. That's the fitness tip for today.
Whoa, that was a good one, Marty. That was an exceptional fitness tip today, man. You left some nuggets out there for everybody. And I want to, before we bring Soyoung on here for a quick moment here, John and Marty, I want to mention something you talked about, which is this idea of sweating, right? So many of us,
oh my God,
when we go to the gym, we have to have like this biggest sweat because that sweat unlocks this psychological accomplishment in our brain.
Yep.
John, you go first. Reinforce what Marty just said. If you're not sweating, but you still got a good workout in, you got a good workout in. John.
Well, I think, again, we can chalk that up into don't get lost in the details.
Yeah.
Did you show up? Did you show up and did you get through your routine? And if you got through it and you didn't sweat, okay, maybe you didn't sweat. But the bottom line is you got there and you did it. Now, if you get the sweat, that's great.
Yes.
If you're showing up and you're actually working towards your sweat, that's perfect because you got the showing up part out of the way. Then you're working for the next step, which is to get a little more. But that's the order. Don't get focused on the details. Well, I'm not sweating. I'm not going to show up today. Shut up. Go to the gym.
Yes. Yeah. Marty, want to add to that?
I'm going to keep it brief because I could get carried away. I talk about these classes a lot. They got all types of workout classes, and you'll go there and break a sweat, right? It's not helping your gains. It's not helping you lose belly fat. I promise you. So don't get caught up in that. Use the science. Hire a coach. Get someone that's going to guide you on the right path to getting those goals. Be careful with these classes. That's all I got to say. There you go.
All right, we're going to move our attention to Soyoung. We're bringing her here in less than a minute. I got some comments on the screen here. Erwin Curtis talks about Erwin Curtis. First thing I do in the morning is 3 sets of 12 rep push-ups and squats. But Erwin, I would encourage you and I invite you to start with some water first. Go crush a gallon of water. Go take a page out of the Marty and John book of water drinking, and then do those squats and push-ups. And then Erwin talks about his calisthenics in the morning. Johnny, you're going to say something?
It was even a big glass of water out of bed will do the trick. Saying a gallon, that's some people go, I can't do that. But a big glass, anybody can do that.
There you go. And then we got our friend REF Dallas. What's going on, my friend? Robert Hunt joined us in the show here a couple months back. What's going on, Robert? And then of course, Robert's listening to the show right now, guys. And guess what he's doing right now? Listening to y'all while sweating on the stationary bike.
There we go.
Yo, Rob is hilarious, man.
That's awesome. All right. So without further ado, we have had this young lady hanging out, patiently waiting for us while we were patiently waiting for her internet to get going too. So I can see her frantically go, okay, it's time to get Soyoung up on the stage here. We are going to bring, Erwin's like, I'm way ahead of you, bro, on the water thing. That's awesome, Erwin. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Erwin, subscribe to the channel, man. Hit the old like button, comment, share it with your friends, but subscribe to the Mornings in the Lab channel. Everything that you guys can do can help us out here. But hey, Jimmy, I'm gonna bring Soyoung up on the vertical. You bring Soyoung up on the All right, let's go it. Jimmy, you got her on horizontal. I got her on vertical. We're gonna do this. Soyoung Park, welcome to Mornings in the Lab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's going down?
Yeah.
How are you? Oh, your audio's out. We want to get your audio. Up here on the vertical. We can't hear you on the vertical here, Soyoung. You want to keep talking now there, kiddo?
I got to say that's confused. I was confused having to turn audios on both, so I can understand where she's coming from. Because I was like, wait, what do you mean you got to turn the audio on the vertical? What are you talking about? I got audio on. Come on, man.
There you go. So while Soyoung is getting her audio sorted, Alex, Marty, Alex has a question for you, which is, what about the talk test, Chris? Does that not give you an indication of intensity and therefore of burning calories? So, Marty, there's that whole ideology in the gym that if you can go for a run or go for a walk and you can talk enough, that perhaps that's the test of them not sweating, so to speak. So, Marty, can you talk about that?
No, that's a good test to test your intensity. So, so if my clients are talking about the kids while they're doing squats, the weight isn't heavy enough or we're not doing enough reps. So that's a good test, actually.
There you go. Soyoung, you got you there?
She looks focused. She's trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And it's okay. Mike McQuillan's feeling your pain right now because Mike sorted this out a couple weeks ago on the show here.
Mike was crazy.
He's sorting this out. And Soyoung, Lauren's commenting on where's the hot pink. And actually, I was wondering where that facial you had on last night on LinkedIn. I was looking forward to that as well here, Soyoung. So she's gonna get herself sorted out. We're gonna keep the conversation happening here in the lab here this morning, guys. Erwin Curtis jumps in with, I'm Gen X. I don't buy a car until I test drive it. Well, good. So, Erwin, you keep listening to our show. You come back tomorrow. You come back on Friday, and you're going to go, I kind of like these guys. You're going to
because you know why he's going to like us? Because we don't miss. We are here every day.
We do not miss.
You know what? I don't think I test drove my car before I bought it.
No?
Brother, well, you're going to get to a point. Listen, you're going to get to a point in life where you're going to buy your vehicle sight unseen. I've had the last 6 cars delivered to my front door. I never look at the. I look at them in a picture, and they tell me that they're perfect, and they show up. And if they're not, I send them back.
John, when I get the lake house, I'm not leaving the lake house. I'm doing the same thing.
I get the lake house,
I'm not there yet. But I don't think I test drove my car before I got it.
Hey guys, we ran a poll yesterday. When you achieve something and people praise you, how do you usually feel? And we gave the answers out there, which was like, I don't deserve it. Some people are like, yeah, okay, well, thanks. They're kind of humble about it.
That was yesterday?
That was yesterday. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Proud but anxious, happy and content, or ready for the next challenge. So again, Johnny, when you achieve something and people praise you, Terry's like, oh, Johnny, good job, man. How do you usually feel? Like you don't deserve it, proud but anxious, happy and content, or are you ready for the next challenge once you get that praise, Jon Andersen?
That's a great question because, a lot of times what happens is I'm so kind of focused on what I'm doing for the day that like a milestone gets met or a marker gets hit and I don't even notice it because I'm focused on today. It's not until I come up for air, at the end of the day and I start looking at where I am and getting ready for tomorrow. So a lot of times she'll kind of point out that I've hit a milestone and I haven't even realized it yet because again, I'm focused on what I got to do. If my head comes up and I'm looking at the goal, I made a mistake. I'm looking at today. There
you go. I like that. Marty, what about you, man? How do you take praise from others?
I think it depends on what I'm being praised for.
Yeah.
If I'm getting praised for something that, I already expected to be successful in, I don't really sweat it. But, if it was something I really wanted to accomplish, maybe I was nervous about it, maybe I had some doubts, then I'll accept it gladly.
I like what you just said. If it's something that you expect, you're like, no, I expected to achieve this success. So that confidence is exceptional when I hear you say that. Most of the audience, guys, so when you achieve something and people praise you, how do you usually feel? 40% came back at proud but anxious. And the rest were 20% at like it, I don't deserve, happy and content, and ready for the next challenge. Johnny.
I was going to say, I described how I'm now. But if we went back a few decades, if we went back 30 years, I hadn't really learned to love myself the way that I should. And so when someone gave me praise, I was kind of like, are you hustling me? Are you making fun of me? Yes. And so I think that's where the pull is. And if that's the case, I think we all need to learn to love ourselves. We all need to accept ourselves. And I think that's the first thing. When you realize that, hey, here's the first step. We're all fucked up. We all have issues. And when we realize, okay, we're all this way. I just have my set. You have your set. It makes it a lot easier to start to love yourself. And I know for me, it took me a while to learn to love myself.
Yeah. Dude, I practice it every single day.
Oh, it's an ongoing thing. It never stops. But at least you get to the point where, yes, okay, I actually I'm on the right side of the fence finally.
Yes.
I'm not punishing myself with self-loathing behavior because every time I get close to something good, I can't handle it. So I run to, cookies and ice cream, start looking at the bottom. I just made a post last night. I spent the first chunk of my life looking for the secret, the answers to my dreams at the bottom of the cookie jar. I searched many cookie jars for it.
You know what, Andersen? That's why this show is successful and going to continue to be successful. Because when you get on stage and be naked like you are, I do, Marty does, like people just aren't having these conversations. They tune in, they're going, who's this jacked guy on the top talking about his heart and his emotions? Who's this guy on the bottom of the screen, talking about bringing it all and being confident with accepting his results? And then who's this guy in the middle? Who's the guy in the middle again, they're wondering?
He's that very accomplished bodybuilder.
No, I'm the accomplished joke teller because you said a word, John. You said a word that I know Marty really wants me to talk about. You talked about the line in the sand or being the pole in the sand. Did you actually mean the Russians and the Christians and the Canadians and the Jews in the sand as well?
That's a good question.
Well, you mentioned the Poles, so I'm thinking about the Ukrainians, the Poles. Like, Marty's just not liking that joke.
Yeah,
I don't think John gets it.
I'm purposely making him work harder because I'm searching for a punchline here.
I'm just going to hit the rim shot while Christina shakes her head in the green room and Marty shakes his head at me. And Soyoung, we are going to now patiently bring Soyoung on stage because Uncle Keith's going to throw his joke. Hey, I know Seth Kuhn's listening right now. Seth, I know you like my jokes. So Seth, I'm going to tune into LinkedIn later on today. And I know that you're going to make a joke about perenniums and everything else, Seth Kuhn. So I'll leave that there.
Seth, make him work a little harder on his punchlines.
Soyoung Park.
Oh my there she is.
Yes, we have the incomparable Jon Andersen, Christopher Martin, Christina Flynn, This is the incomparable Soyoung Park. If you digest this young lady's content on LinkedIn, there is nothing like it on the planet. I'm telling you. So when she knocked on our door, she might be one of the biggest fans of our show. She's like, I got to come on the show. I'm like, let's do it. So we've been patiently waiting for Soyoung to show up, and you're here. We are happy to have you here today, Soyoung.
Thanks for having me after having technical difficulties.
So can you stick around for the rest of the show?
I hope so.
Oh, wait a minute. You don't have a job, so of course you can.
Well, yeah,
Whoa,
that too.
whoa.
Hey,
Listen.
not having a job is a compliment.
I agree. Nah, Soyoung knows we're joking here. Soyoung has been on an incredible journey. We're talking personal branding here in the lab here. Soyoung has been on a journey of Soyoung's an accomplished. So listen, I tease and I joke, and Soyoung knows she's been around the planet long enough with us here in the lab that if we tease, we love. If we jest, we love. If we're throwing folks under the bus, we love. But guys, Soyoung just didn't show up yesterday. An accomplished financial and business systems analyst, deep expertise in Oracle, PeopleSoft, Power BI, and SQL. She's known for bridging the gap between finance and IT like a pro. But here's what I love. She's been on an 8-month journey of job searching with her dog, with Bobby. Yeah, she's been building her personal brand on LinkedIn along the way. And I have loved watching Soyoung's journey. Marty, I remember that first video she put up on LinkedIn. And she's like, okay, I'm getting into this video game. And she just got in front of the camera and started doing it. And John and Marty, so many folks are scared to put themselves out there. If anybody listening right now is scared to put themselves out there, I cannot invite you enough to go get to know Soyoung Park, because she will lead you past being scared to put yourself out there. Soyoung, you also built up an Instagram account for your bulldog with 60,000 followers, dude.
Yes, I did.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, but I'm too embarrassed to say it's taken about 8 years, or I've been on it for about 8 years, yeah.
Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Great job.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? That's it's taken you 8 years. Like, explain that. So
Yeah, so I started my Instagram journey back in 2016 when my first bulldog named Rooney was about 4 years old. So back then, I wasn't big on social media. If you think I'm an extrovert, I'm really not. And even back then, I was even worse. But I was looking for something more than just going to work, coming home, eat dinner, play with Rooney, and then going to sleep and repeat it all over again. So I discovered Instagram, and I saw all these different bulldog accounts posting pictures, videos, and whatnot. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And they're all talking as if they're the dog, not as, third person, right? So
that's a great angle.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, this is something new, but okay. And I started cautiously posting things on Instagram, and of course, anytime you start anything new, it's slow. You don't really. Oh, there's Bobby.
Here comes Bobby.
Love it.
So anytime you start something new, you only get 1 or 2 likes. I had to close the door because he was barking downstairs, but now he's made his way up here. So it was slow, but then there's a whole new world on Instagram where if the dog has a birthday. And these people just start putting the hashtag on there and invite myself. So I just pretty much just put it in writing, and it's blown up since then. Everyone loves my humor, the captions on it mostly, and people just kept following me for that. And I lost him back in 2021, and I've been continuing the tradition with Bobby. He's complete opposite of Rooney, so it's a little bit of interesting journey. I'll say that for sure.
Thanks for sharing that, Soyoung. I appreciate you sharing that, and I appreciate how you're building, you're leaning into your personal brand by using the bulldog here. So we got some comments here on the chat. I want to bring up to the stage, and then John, we're going to get you set up for the lifestyle tip and keep the conversation going here. So Mike joins up here with the pole in the sand joke. Yes, Mike, I appreciate you liking my humor as well. Nicely done. Also, nice rule of three before with who's that guy in the middle? Yeah, that's me. We got Brooke Swadar joining us here. Good morning, Brooke. What's shaking, kid? Always love having you tune in. Big fan of yours, as you know. Jolene Pierce is joining us as well. Christina, Jolene wants to get on the show sometime in the future. Jolene's got a story. Hey, Jolene has spent some time in Sudbury. Hey, Bobby, you got to quiet down, man. We're doing a show here. And then what else we got here? We got Bobby, and then we got Alex who hits the room. We want to see that nose picking. Okay, awesome. So Soyoung, Marty, we're going to put John on stage for the lifestyle tip of the day, and then we're going to come back and keep the conversation going with Soyoung, talk personal branding, and then we're going to get into Jimmy. We're going to drop the LinkedIn Creator Spotlight at the 15-minute mark of the second hour here. So we're gonna do our lifestyle tip with John. We're going to keep the show going with Soyoung, and then we're going to come back to the Creator Spotlight at the 15-minute mark after the hour. All right, so guys, Marty, you're off, man. Soyoung, you're off. I'm going to do this here. There we go.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. All right. Today, we are going to, for the lifestyle tip, we're working on a little bit of vocabulary. It's one word, and it's extremely powerful when we remove it from our mouths, from our lives. And that phrase is, I can't. When you say I can't, you are basically relinquishing accountability from whatever it is you're talking about. You can say anything in place of I can't. Say you don't want to do it. Say it's going to hurt. Say you don't like it. Say anything other than I can't. If you want to make progress in life, you need to take accountability for everything all around you and make sure that you make the best of every day. And if you remove the phrase, I can't, you will be blown away at how much progress you will make. Rock and roll.
Turned into I can. These simple things we like to bring up here on the show. Simple yet so meaningful. And again, our purpose here is to give you guys things to think about. And when John says to you right now, I can, right now you're laying there going, I don't know if I can't. I don't know if I can. You're going to hit the snooze button. John's saying, no, don't.
Well,
because you can.
You know what? I'm not even asking to say I can. I'm just asking to say this is going to suck. Okay. Yeah. But you can do it. It's going to hurt. You can still do it. Just say anything other than I can't. And if I can is too big, don't worry about it.
That's it. Always say I can, and use that visualization in your brain. Imagine what it feels like, John, when you're done, right? Yeah. You know what it feels like, gentlemen. You know what the workout feels like when you're done. You know what it feels like when those 45 minutes are like in the gym. So if you're sitting here right now going, I don't want to go right now, go. Think about the 46th minute. Think about that 50th minute. When you're done your training, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to feel great. The checkbox is done. You've accomplished something. You got the whole day ahead of you.
Chase that feeling, baby.
Chase the feeling. All right, see Marty Fit, Christopher Martin, Soyoung Park. We're keeping the conversation going.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah,
hey, John, we need like a minute, not like 30 seconds, man. I can't even go to the cutter, man. I can't even go to the cutter, man.
Well, here's the thing, man. I just got to keep it. The lifestyle tips got to be simple and it's got to be actionable. And if they make it too complex, people have a hard time putting that sucker in play.
That's it.
That's it. Right. You're right. Yeah. That was good.
Soyoung was part of the conversation last week when we were talking about the cutter and David Sowers and Royal Restrooms and all that shit. So I know Soyoung is like she's getting some humor out of this conversation as well. Yeah. So hey, listen, let's get to the main topic today about personal branding. And Soyoung, I like how you have really accepted the popularity of your Bulldogs, and you've seen the popularity of your Bulldogs on Instagram and now on LinkedIn, and you're like, hey, this is maybe part of my personal brand. Right. But before we go there, how did you overcome that initial discomfort of creating video content and sharing it with a wide audience? I ask that because there's many listening right now that are thinking about doing their first video, wanting to do their first video, scared to do it. And like Jon just said in Lifestyle Tip, going, I can't. No, you can. Yes. So Soyoung, you found the courage to say, I can. How did you do that when you sat down and did that first video, Soyoung?
I cringed at my first video. And even doing Instagram for 8 years, you would think I would video record myself with Rooney and whatnot, but I never did because I was always afraid of what others might think of me initially. And eventually, once I transferred that over to LinkedIn and, dog videos are great, dog pictures are great, but LinkedIn is my personal page and I need to showcase what my personality is like. I may write one thing, but I may, sound different, I guess. So Joshua Torres, shout out to you, Brooke, Sweetheart, Jolie, Seth, even Keith. You guys all just really inspired me to just be myself and record myself out there. And the first one was very cringeworthy, I'll say, but
yeah, it was.
Thanks, Keith. But I think the more I did it, I got used to it. And it's just even, I hate the voice of I hate hearing my voice, but now I just record it, get a quick listen, and then just post it. I'm just,
you know what endeared me?
Sounds like.
You know what endeared me to you, though, Soyoung? Sorry to cut you off, a little delay there. Is that there's something about you've clearly embraced the process of imperfection. That's what we are here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab, right? Jon talks about don't get into details, just, enjoy the process. Marty's about enjoying the journey, right? It's not ever going to be done for it to be perfect. And it took you some time to recognize that, but you're like, no, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be imperfect. And you've just been getting into the process by weaving your humor into it. But that's when I knew you were really a business athlete at heart, because you didn't wait for the moment for it to be perfect. You're like, no, I'm just doing it. And I'm just going to figure it out on the fly. And we've been watching you from afar. And I've been saying to Jon and Marty, like, watch Soyoung, man. She's just kicking it. One day she's like, oh, a cringeworthy video. Then you're like, I'm going to do it again.
That's perfect because perfection is nothing more than camouflage procrastination.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've always procrastinated a lot of videos because I'm like, oh, it has to be perfect. But if you have a dog, you can't exactly tell, hey, make this expression, or hey, bark when I tell you to. I'm sure there's plenty of trainers out there who could probably do that, but I do not have that kind of patience, and Bobby will not stay still anyway. So in terms of perfection, yes, I do try to be a perfectionist as well, but I learned there's no such thing as perfection. You get what you get, and if people like you, then they like you. If not, then see ya.
But let's stay here because we've certainly touched on a nerve, and even Lauren jumps in and says your first one was great because it was honest, and we've all been there, and that's exactly it. I'll be very frank with you. You're on the show right now because of that first video, because you showed me and Jon and Marty and Christina that you're like, yeah, I'm all about embracing the fear of failure. I'm all about walking towards the flame and wondering if I'm going to get burned, but then I'm going to keep walking, and that's what we do here in the lab, right? So the fact that you're like, yeah, I'm going to try this out, and then the fact that you recognized, and I like this too, you used a very common technique in live content or video creation. You used I'm looking for a word here. I'm not gonna use the word crutch, but you used your dog to help yourself get in front of the camera. So often people will use something within their purview to make themselves feel comfortable, right? And you're like, okay, the dog is going to be the way for me to offload some of this stress from myself. I'm going to have the dog be part of this. And then over time, you watch what's happened is that, first of all, guys, it was all about the dog. And then over time, Soyoung kind of picked up and she's like, okay, I got my comfort level here now. And that's a technique that a lot of people get really nervous about. It's the old idea of taking water on stage, Jon Andersen, when you're speaking. People take water up there to give them that confidence, that feeling of, okay, I'm going to have a glass of water when I'm stressed out, right? And the same thing Soyoung you did. You're like, okay, Bobby, you are my little helper. right?
Yeah.
Which is exceptional. And then Fazil comes in here, which is leap of faith is the hardest and most crucial step. Breaking the stigma of how others might perceive is the key to success. And then Johnny, you dropped a good nugget here, which Jolene really leaned into, which was, I love that, camouflaged procrastination. That is what perfection is. When people are like, they wait, Johnny.
Paralysis by analysis, baby. You know, the key is taking steps. Even if you take a step in the wrong direction, it's okay. You're going to learn and you're going to figure out to turn yourself back the other way. And how many times in my life, in my journey, I've taken the wrong step in the wrong direction, but a door opened up that I would have never, ever seen because I was accidentally going that way. As long as you're moving, you're learning. And if you're learning, you're getting better. And if you're getting better, you're on your way to whatever destination it is that you desire.
That's it. Movement creates momentum, nation. Get your ass out of bed, get moving right now and get that momentum behind you. Because you know what? Soyoung made a move. She created a video. That one video started creating momentum. Several weeks later, she's now on the show in front of a large audience and building up her network and on her journey to getting the next job in her career. With Bobby's chiming in as well. Listen, if you guys got questions for Soyoung or Bobby, I invite you to drop them into the channel here on the side here and ask any questions of Soyoung along the way here. But so Soyoung, let's talk about the Bulldog brand versus the personal brand here. 92% of consumers trust recommendations from individuals over brand. Only 2% of Instagram users have over 50,000 followers. Like, dude, your account is a significant accomplishment.
Thank you.
Rooney and now Bobby, like, you've got a lot of people leaning into what's going on with your Bulldog account. Here's the critical question, the $1 million question: are you interested in monetizing that Bulldog account of 60,000 followers, or has that not been part of your thought process so far?
It's always been at the back of my mind. I guess I just never met the right people to monetize it the way I would expect it to. When I first started with Rooney, I got all these companies coming to me with things they wanted to promote. They got, oh my goodness, Bobby.
Is he having dinner right now? Is that a fork just dropped on the plate?
No, it was one of my knitting needles. It was on the bookshelf and he just knocked it over. So, Bobby, what are you doing? Thanks for interrupting me, man.
So Johnny has a Bulldog too. So we as Bulldog owners know what's going on in your world right now. Yes.
Well, actually, I used to have two, and but they both ended up passing, and we now have American bullies. But my English was funny. It was as an adult, it was my first dog, and I thought, well, I have girls, so I'm going to get a male dog, so I have a son. Well, unfortunately, Junior was his name. His manhood was in question, so he ended up becoming one of my daughters.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there was a little French bulldog right next door, and that little thing would be in heat. And he didn't give a damn. He'd be looking for, and he would only hump legs of males. He would never try to hump a female's leg. And that little French bulldog was in heat, would be sticking that thing in his face, and he just looked the other way.
That's funny.
Producer Flynn, going to bring you up on stage here to join the conversation. Our resident branding expert, personal branding expert here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab, as well as our producer of the show. Christina joined us about a month ago and has been an exceptional addition to the squad. Christina, as you're listening to Soyoung talk about her personal brand, her Bulldog brand, and I know you're all about personal branding and helping humans build their personal brands. I've been talking to you a little bit behind the scenes with this. You're quite intrigued by Soyoung's success with her Bulldog, and you've been quite intrigued by what she's doing on the platform as well. Some questions for Soyoung, Christina.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything we've been talking about, this is not easy. It's very hard to do. A lot of people that you see doing it, they still feel fear all the time. I love the transition that you made Soyoung from your Bulldog, which felt a little bit safer, to your own personal brand. What I'd love to know a little bit more about is the intentionality behind which you're building that brand on LinkedIn as part of your job search. You talk about the fact that you've been on for 8 months now. What has that journey been like, and what have you been thinking about as it relates to building your brand on LinkedIn in order to be able to support you with that job search?
Yes, so I was laid off on January 2nd after I came back from vacation, unfortunately. And I had a recruiter reach out to me, and I did go through a series of interviews. I went through about 4, and they decided to move on with another candidate as they had more experience in that industry than I did. So after that, it's just been calls with recruiters left and right, and they would, come back to me if they had any positions available for me. It was a little radio. Actually, it's pretty much been radio silence. Not to say they're bad. It's just this job market has been horrible this year. It's probably the worst as I've kept reading. Or if you look up LinkedIn, there's so many people who have the open to work banner on. And for me, I'm very fortunate to have my parents to help me if I can, and I'm not in a rush to find a job as soon as possible, right? So with that, I kind of leveraged it, and I said, okay, I'm not desperately searching for a job. I would like a job if I can, but I'm gonna just make fun of this whole unemployment process and have Bobby make fun of me for it, right? So he has his needs of toys, treats, and food, and if I'm not working, then he's not gonna be able to get those luxury goods, right? So I leveraged that, and I said, if I don't find a job soon, he's gonna start having to sell his paws pictures on OnlyFans accounts to make up for to make money for all his necessities, right? So and throughout that process, I started getting more ideas about how I can make fun of smile, right? So I've transferred that skills over to LinkedIn, and not only as myself, but also use Bobby to kind of make funny videos, contents to help others smile and laugh, especially during this tough job market time. And I hope that there are recruiters or even hiring managers out there who sees my personality, sees that I'm a funny person, and is personable, to get to know and work with, and reach out with the opportunity.
I love that, and I think to me it's the point about differentiation, right? Like the skills that you have are marketable, they're very practical. What you bring to the market that you're showing through your content is your ability to build a brand online. That's a skill, and that's a skill that you're honing over time, and you're showcasing that through your work. It's also, not everyone has the ability to build a 60K following on Instagram using humor, using video. To me, that extends what you're able to do related to Power BI and all of your other tactical skills, to be able to say, I can look at things differently. I can keep with something for a longer period of time. It took me 8 years to grow a 60K account. That is something I think is a beautiful thing to highlight as a differentiation between you and other candidates that might have similar work experience.
Yeah, one of my key skills really is persistence and consistency as well. So I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, I posted a video with my funny facial expression bloopers from the video I created. Some people said, oh, I would have given up after the 10th try or something, right? Or even after the 3rd try. And I was like, no, I need to make this video. I need to post it, So I just kept going at it. And eventually I had to kind of stitch a couple of films together. But I got it done, and that's all that matters. So
awesome. You're hanging out with Keith Bilous, See Marty Fit, Jon Andersen, and Christina Flynn, and of course our guest Soyoung Park. Jon Andersen, you got a question for Soyoung?
I just want to kind of take what we're talking about with Soyoung on her story, and I just want to kind of, if our listeners haven't uncovered this, I want to uncover it for you guys. And so basically, she had to get past feeling, uncomfortable about what other people were going to think or say, when she was building this account and doing what she does. But here's the thing. You guys got to remember this one simple element. When you are bold enough to do something that most people can't do, you're going to get attacked. So when you finally take that step and you do something and people do judge you and people attack you, and you got to realize that's part of the equation. You're not going to do something bigger and better than what most people are doing, what most people wish they're doing, and not get attacked. So when you do take that big step and you do get, the resistance that you were afraid of, you got to flip the script. You got to realize this tells you that you did something big. And really, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Johnny. That's absolutely. We got some comments coming from the script, from the comment section as well. Fazil says, "Dog only fans would be one way to grow the personal brand." I can't lie, Soyoung. And then Fazil comes back and says, "When did you notice, Soyoung, sudden spurts of growth on the Instagram account, and how much did the algorithm help with your branding?" Soyoung.
I honestly didn't pay attention to the algorithm. I'm not gonna lie. I did compare myself with my other Bulldog accounts who have hundreds and thousands of followers. One of my closest friends, she had an English Bulldog named Chunky Monkey, and she would post videos of him lying upside down, and she would balance all sorts of things on his chin, and that basically got him to fame, right? So for me, my purpose was, originally it was to get that many followers, but then eventually I realized I was having more fun interacting with accounts than I was focusing on the followers, right? So I was just being genuine, authentic, and interacting with all the other Bulldogs out there and making a friendship. I had friends from all over the world, such as New Zealand, England, France, all within United States as well. And first, as it is the connections you make with users, whether it's on Instagram or on LinkedIn. And once you make that community, have that community, even if you mess up on a video or you post something funny, their words, their comments are what's more useful. Not useful. What's the word I'm looking for? They're more valuable than someone troll coming at you saying, "Hey, this is some stupid video that you're posting on here." So the positive outweighs the negative, I'll say. And the other thing is, based on what Jon said, one of the key feedback or advice that I read somewhere was, if you make a fool out of yourself in public, no one's going to remember you, right? They may remember, hey, there's that girl that was running down the street chasing after her dog, but they're not going to remember my face. They're just going to remember some short Asian girl running after their dog, right? And 24 hours later, they're not going to remember it much, unless I make it on the news. Who knows? But so that's my thought process a lot of the times when I'm making a fool out of myself. Is either it's going to make someone laugh, or it's going to, they're not going to remember it a week from now. So that's kind of what I follow when I make all these videos, captions, and photos.
Great advice, Soyoung. Yeah, don't worry about what others are thinking. You just got to do what you got to do. Hey, listen, we're talking personal branding with Soyoung Park here, first thing in the morning here, Mornings in the Lab. Hey guys, I got a secret for you guys. I want to break our conversation right now. I got a little secret. We're going to do the LinkedIn Creator Spotlight and come back and wrap the conversation with. But guys, I got a secret, and I have a technique. I have a secret that I'm going to share with you guys right now. That is going to change your day. It's going to change the loop. It's going to change your week. It's going to change the month. It's such a powerful technique, Jon Andersen. I know you like techniques. I see you leaning in. It's a tool, but it's vocabulary. And I teach my kids this every single day because I don't think enough humans use this tool, which what I'm going to share with you guys here in a moment. Because if they did, we'd have a lot more kindness and happiness in the world. But man, Johnny, Marty, when you discover the power of these two words and using them effectively with human beings, man, you can move mountains. Humans will Johnny, humans will run through the fire for you. Marty, humans will climb mountains for you when you address them with these 2 words. If you can go through your day today and look somebody across the eye and honestly and gratefully say to them, thank you, you're going to win them and win the day every single moment. You're thinking, what? Did he just say thank you? I did. Not enough of us sit across from the humans we work with, we hang out with, we live with, we spend time with, and say thank you. Last night, we did the garbage in the house. Lauren comes home and she said, hey, Keith, thanks for doing the garbage. Such a really rudimentary little thing to happen. But man, that appreciation, that gratitude goes wonders. Johnny, lean into those 2 powerful words of thank you and the power that those words mean from the gratitude perspective when you look across from somebody and say thank you. Jon Andersen.
Well, I think the word that you just right now, you just use gratitude. And when the thing that I love about that word, which thank you falls right into there, is your brain doesn't have the ability to feel gratitude and stress or anxiety at the same time. So not only are you giving that person a really, really nice gesture and a really nice feeling, but you're also giving it to yourself.
Yes.
I think that's what people tend to miss, is that, giving a thank you, giving gratitude, giving love, it helps both parties. And when you realize when you're giving like that, you're helping yourself also. It's everybody wins.
Yes. John's right. When you're saying thank you to somebody else, it's as much about yourself, right? So I invite you today, as you're going through your day, we're all about giving positive vibes and positive feelings of emotion here in the lab. I invite you to consider those 2 words. Thank you. The power of gratitude, the power of kindness, Christopher Martin, the power of being polite. It was one of the things I met when I met you, Chris. How polite you were and how respectful you were. Very, very simple. Yet most struggle with that. Marty.
Yeah, most people struggle with that. And when if I do something for someone and they tell me thank you, it makes me want to do more for them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue being a nice guy. I want to continue making you happy. Just showing that appreciation. So
Yes. And Erwin Curtis, thanks, Erwin. Hey, you're still test driving the show. I'm so glad you're here, Erwin. When you're ready to do it, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. But Erwin's like, hey, it's not that hard to thank people when they hold the door open for you.
Man.
Right?
That's
so
crazy.
Simple, but yet it makes everybody feel. And Christina, it might be a Canadian thing, Tina, because I know here in Canada we're just nice, trying to be kind to everybody. But the power of thank you is exceptional. And you know what? And Erwin's like, it's crucial and not hard to thank a veteran when you see them in the store. There you go. Hallelujah to that, Curtis. Erwin, I appreciate that as well. Soyoung, talk about the power of thank you. Soyoung.
Power of thank you. I'm always thanking everybody. If you see me in my comments, I'm always thanking everyone who's commenting on my posts and whatnot. It makes you feel like you're appreciated when someone thanks you. And like Chris said, you want to do more for them, right? You want to help them even further and see them be successful, or opening the door for somebody. It makes their day because they don't have to touch dirty door handles.
Yes. Yeah. The power of thank you. Does Bobby say thank you to Soyoung throughout the day? Bobby's like, hey, thanks for feeding me.
No.
No. All right. Listen, we're at the 20-minute mark of the show here. We are going to do the creator spotlight, and then we're going to come back and wrap up here. So,
and what now couples with the creator spotlight in our show?
Yes, the creator spotlight is also in tandem with John's restroom break. So we're gonna do the creator spotlight. John's sneaking off to the restroom. Soyoung, you know how this works. You know what we like to do here on the show. So we're gonna remove John from the stage. John's gonna go do some business, and we're gonna continue our chat with the creator spotlight. So Soyoung, you know what we do here. We like to take somebody within the LinkedIn platform. Our energy is focused right there right now. We take this human being, we're like, oh my God, they're doing some great work over there, and we want to celebrate them. So today we have Jimmy, probably the weirdest CEO of a recruitment empire. Oh, Soyoung.
I wonder who that is.
I wonder who that is. So today's creator spotlight for Mornings in the Lab is Marty, drumroll please. It is today Alex Dick. All right, so Alex is from London, England. And Alex, if you asked me or what I or Alex did back in 2020, you'd say that he was a specialist in legal recruitment, expert with 10 plus years experience, specializing in legal consultancy. Well, things have changed. And he's a vocal advocate for flexible working, helping legal professionals find higher pay, respect, and freedom. Alex, who's our creator spotlight today, he's a voice for what we're going to see more of, the idea of modern recruitment. Why are we highlighting Alex today, Soyoung? He's mastered the art of speaking to his audience. He runs a recruitment company, and he uses humor to address the frustration people have with recruiters. He's doing a mix of content on LinkedIn, text, and video with different approaches to each of these. He's talking to the camera, he's doing scene-based stuff. He does a great job of integrating his personal story, just like you're doing, Soyoung, with his content. Talks about his family, relates to managing his work from home realities. So listen, here's the thing. Whether you're in need of Alex's services or you just want a great profile to go check out and how to do LinkedIn right, thank you, Christina Flynn. Follow and connect with Alex on LinkedIn. You can see his page here. I got scrolling on the screen here. He's got a bunch of great content in the feed, and I could not strongly invite you enough to follow Alex Dick. He's got some video up here, but Alex is somebody you're going to want to follow if you're in the recruitment game, and he is probably the weirdest CEO, maybe next to myself. I'm not in the recruitment space, but Alex, we are celebrating you here today. Mornings in the Lab, Creator Spotlight, and now it's your turn to join the show and nominate somebody next. Okay, Alex. Christina, you found Alex. What do you think about Alex?
I actually found Alex through Dominic, who was he's going to be an upcoming guest on our show and was a creator spotlight a little while ago. And Dominic is a videographer. And so he came up on my page as doing this video. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this guy doing? And talking about recruitment. Punchline is, I realize he's making fun of himself. He's making fun of the recruitment game in basically trying to just advocate for a different way of doing things. And I think that's really refreshing. So I like the fact that he's trying new content. I like the fact that he's using humor, like we talked about with Soyoung, and he's actually poking fun at himself. Not like we always have to be self-deprecating, but there's a way of connecting with your audience in a different way when you can resonate and you can show them that you understand the frustrations that they have. And that's what Alex is doing really well.
There you go. Thank you for that, Christina Flynn. All right, wrapping up the last couple minutes of the show here. Last segment here as we wrap up here over the next 5 minutes or so. Soyoung, as you're building as you're on your journey to establish the next point in your career, talk about is that personal brand you're building always necessary, or do you think there's times where it might not be as necessary? Soyoung.
So one of the other advices that I saw on LinkedIn was, in terms of creating and building your personal brand on LinkedIn, is if there are 20 people applying for the same position and they all have they all qualify for that position, how are they gonna pick the one that stands out, right? And if the hiring manager went through all of their LinkedIn accounts, nobody has posted anything except for myself, with all these different videos and pictures, then they're gonna say, oh, she's an interesting character. I feel like I already know her. Let's go with her. So that's kind of what I'm trying to build here, and and be unique. There's a lot of posts on LinkedIn about education and LinkedIn posts and make someone laugh for the day. So that's what I'm trying to do.
It's exceptional. Christina, closing questions for Soyoung.
Not so much questions, just comments too. And I want to build on what you just said there. So, according to DataBox, 50%, half of hiring managers say that they're more likely to contact a candidate with a strong personal brand online. So what Soyoung is saying is not just anecdotal. The data shows it is a key differentiator. And that's the beauty of what you're doing. You are showing your personality, which we know fit is really important. We're showing the ability to be consistent and be persistent in what you're doing. And you're showing the ability to actually show you that personality. I think I already said that. Fuck, I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but you know what it is. So Young, I love what you're doing. I think you're doing amazing things. You're a model of possibility for so many people, and you're showing us it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't have to not be afraid. You can be afraid, and you can do all these things. It's an and, not an or.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, Christina, I thank you for saying that, because I believe, you know, Soyoung is a model for the kind of business athletes we're building here in the lab. We're looking to reach out to here in the lab, right? Somebody who walks towards the fire, somebody who's not afraid to fail, somebody who's not afraid to get up every single day, not afraid to go and try, right? Like, so you just every single day of your loop, you just perpetuate that attitude, right? When you fall, you get up. I watch it. It's hard not to see. And then you wrap it in humor, right? So when it comes down to building a personal brand, I think you're a great testament to, you know, I look at Jon. Jon's got his personal brand. Marty's got his, and I got mine. Tina, it's clear what yours is, and it's clear how you're developing yours every single day. So I applaud you for that effort, and I thank you for joining us on the show here today. And most importantly, I really want to emphasize thank you for the support you keep giving myself, Jon, Marty, and Flynn on this show. You've been a great supporter, a huge fan, and I cannot thank you enough for that, Soyoung Park.
Appreciate everybody on here.
Yeah, so you come back, join us regularly, and we'll keep the dialogue going here on the lab here. We started the show talking about picking our nose and getting Alzheimer's. We moved the show into talking about all these different fitness programs you can do and diets you can start and everything you can try to accomplish, but it's all meaningless, Jon Andersen, if you can't stay consistent with your habits. Right, Johnny, you're muted. And then that's okay, pal. Or maybe it's on my end. And then Marty, we continued the show. Oh, is that me? Marty, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear Jon though, can we?
I can't hear Jon.
Okay, that's okay, as long as it wasn't me. Okay, cool. So Jon's, so Marty, we continued the show with, we talked about thank you and the idea of gratitude. Let's continue working towards the idea of wrapping up with gratitude today, Marty.
No, absolutely. And that the thank you is big, man. And I don't know if it's, you know, if it's a Canadian thing, but you know, here in America, we're going farther and farther away from just having human decency and being nice to people. Thank you is everything. It's not hard to say, right? It takes less than 2 seconds. So
yes,
gratitude goes a long way, and it really needs to be talked about more. That's what we do here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, Marty. I wish my American friends used those two words a little more often. Right? It's such a powerful statement. Thank you.
Hey, man, I'm a rare American, you know?
I know you are.
One of the nicest Americans.
You are. A very polite young man you are, Mr. Chris.
I'm nicer than Jon. We can't hear him right now. So
I know.
Track, you know, Jon. I'm nicer than Jon.
Johnny, you good there, buddy? So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens when Johnny goes to the restroom. There, he turns the old mute on the old show there. So, all right. So listen, let's we're gonna work towards wrapping it up. Soyoung, what do you got going on the agenda today, Soyoung?
We are having our driveway seal coated, so I will be taking Bobby on the drive so he doesn't bark all day.
You said what? You're getting your what done today?
My driveway, we're getting a seal coated.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so Bobby has to leave the house.
Yeah, or he will be barking all day long. It's nonstop.
That's exceptional. All right, so listen, everybody in the chat. Erwin, I thank you for joining in. Jamie, I thank you for joining in. Fazil, Jolene, Lauren, Alex, Brooke, Christina. I feel like I'm doing romper room right now. We got Will, we got Mike, we got a bunch of folks joining us here today for the conversation with Soyoung Park. We talked personal branding, we talked thank you, we talked nose picking, giving us Alzheimer's. We had a lot of great conversations today. Tina, what do we got going on tomorrow in the lab? I don't know if I got myself to tomorrow yet.
Me neither, so I'll let you know.
There you go. Awesome. All right, we're going to keep the day rolling here. The loop's going to go on. We're back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Subscribe, like, comment on the channel. John, is your audio on yet? No, so we don't got I'm not sure what's going on. That's okay. We're going to, we'll see you guys in the green room. We're going to say goodbye, and we will see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Like it, subscribe, comment, like Mornings in the Lab, the only show that helps you guys get your ass out of bed and help you achieve the biggest, most audacious goals in your life. See you guys tomorrow.